Alright guys, back with another video for you today, and this is video 1 of 2 videos. Today on new houses I haven't spoken much or at all about on the channel. The first house is out of Germany and it is Wesker Fragrances, and I have 2 fragrances I'm speaking about today. This is Eau De Mystique and this is Imperial. Look at these gorgeous bottles with great fragrances, and I'm going to let you know all about these 2 fragrances coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. I know you guys love discovering new houses, and you probably have heard about this house. And I first discovered it, I guess, on Instagram, and then I saw that Lucky Scent was carrying them, and then the house or the brand reached out to me and asked me if I can review their fragrances. So these were sent to me, but I'm quite impressed. I don't speak a lot about German niche fragrances, and the quality of these are really great. So I recommend them, and these are both really great fragrances, and one actually is in more of a style of fragrances that I really like to wear in comparison to the other, but both are really excellent creations, I think, and depending on what kind of styles you like, you would pick one or the other, perhaps both or perhaps neither, but I'll let you know all about the 2 fragrances as I said. But before I get to the fragrances, if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you still haven't subscribed, please do click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So how many of you are familiar with Wesker? This is Eau De Mystique, this is Imperial, and I know they have a 3rd fragrance that I've been seeing come up on Lucky Scent as well. I can't remember the name of that one, but these 2, as I said, were sent to me, and some people started asking me about these fragrances around the time that the brand actually reached out to me to ask me if I wanted to, review their fragrances, and I said, I have to be honest with my opinions about the fragrances, and of course I'm going to let you know exactly what I think about them. But I definitely recommend them as far as niche fragrances go, and the best thing about it is they smell great, they're quality releases, plus they have the most beautiful bottles, as you can see, really beautiful. Now can you guess which of the 2 is my favorite? I'm going to first start speaking about Eau De Mystique, but before I talk about this particular fragrance, both of them are Extrait de Parfum concentration, meaning the highest perfume oils and fragrances, 30% according to their website. They are retailing 50 ml bottles for $195, but a little goes a long way. This one actually does remind me of something, actually, and I'll tell you which fragrance it reminds me of, but it hints at it more than it reminds me of, but obviously when it hints at it, you remember other fragrances. But this to me is the warm, spicy one, and if you're looking at the bottle, does it bring to mind a certain fragrance to you? I'll tell you what it is reminding me of. But this one has notes of honey, frankincense, neroli, prunes, rose, blood orange, styrax, heliotrope, labdanum, sandalwood. So out of the 2, this is definitely my favorite because it's my style. It's an amber, but it's a fruity amber, definitely fruity and rosy as well. It's interesting, it's almost like you're experiencing rose jam. The rose in here is prominent, but it's nicely blended with the prunes or the plums, whatever you want to call them. They're prune plums, I guess, but definitely is in here. It's almost like macerated plums with, drizzled with honeys and molasses and things like that is what basically I get with this one. So it's very warm and spicy and gooey at the same time. Now, when I was first testing it out, it did remind me of a fragrance called Shihan from the house of Piotr Zarnecki. But the more I wore it, more things developed, and it started reminding me less of that fragrance, but it's kind of in that ballpark. Shihan has a little more dirty tobacco ashiness in there. This one doesn't. This one's more amber and fruits and honey and things like that. So this is a lot more gorgeous, and I guess I would call it more of a unisex offering, whereas Shihan can go very masculine because of that ashy tobacco, but really a gorgeous scent. If you haven't sampled this one, I highly recommend you pick up some samples from somewhere or test them out in a store if you can have access to them. But this one wears beautifully, it wears great in the winter time, and I just love the way all the notes are blended. You pick up the neroli for sure in here. You pick up the smokiness, so I feel like if you didn't throw in that frankincense, the resinous frankincense smoky touch in here, it might have gone overly sweet. So I think that frankincense nicely tones it down a little bit so it doesn't get overly sweet for me. It is a sweet fragrance, don't get me wrong, but I think that frankincense tones it down. But that neroli, as I said, does come in. The rose does come in as well. It's orangey for sure. You can totally smell the oranges. So it's interesting. The Styrax Heliotrope makes it powdery, but the Styrax is kind of a warm resin. But the whole thing is just really, really beautiful. And here I am kind of smelling it on me, and once again, it's reminding me a little bit of Sheehan. I think the amber base of this fragrance, or the amber portion of the fragrance, is hinting at that fragrance. I don't know why. But as I said, this one doesn't have that dirty tobacco-ish ashiness that fragrance has. But I also want to mention once again how beautiful the bottle is. I love this little thing right here. The cap is wooden, and it kind of matches the seal on the front there. And it's just, I think it's very, very well made. It's very, very classy. And putting this down and displaying it just will look great next to bottles. I just think it's gorgeous. The whole thing is beautifully created. One negative, and it's not really a negative, I felt like the box, even though from the outside it's gorgeous, I think it didn't fit in the box very well, but that's a minor thing because the fragrance itself, both of them really did smell great. It's just when I had taken out the bottle, it didn't fit back in there perfectly, but that's the box. But either way, this is Eau De Mystique, a great scent. I highly recommend you check it out if you're into warm, spicy fragrances, fruity, honeyed, powdery fragrances that I think are perfect for cold weather. So that's Eau De Mystique. Now the second fragrance, Imperial, is not necessarily my style, but I still enjoyed what I smelled. And it's actually featuring a note in here that recently I've been falling in love with more and more. In fact, a year ago, I did a video on this particular note, mimosa flower. And for me, as soon as I smelled it, that's what I smelled. Mimosa flowers in combination with linden blossom is what I get mostly with this, and then throw in some almonds as well. But when you look at the bottle with this one, mimosa is a kind of yellowish orange, more yellow, and it kind of reminds me of the coloring of that flower, and it makes sense that they would design this bottle like that. And it's, once again, it's a beautiful, beautiful bottle. I love these bottles. They're really, really cute. They almost look like the caps are wooden, but it kind of like blends into the glass. It's just very, very interesting that wood, like the material, the texture reminds me of the glass texturing. So whatever they've done to coat the glass just totally matches the coating on top of the wooden cap. But either way, same pricing. It's Imperial Extrait de Parfum, so it's 30% perfume oils, 50 ml, 195. Again, this is a house from Germany, and this one features notes of mimosa, musk, violets, almonds, linden blossom, cotton flower, jasmine, clover. So those are what I really was getting from this particular fragrance. There are other notes, but as I said, as soon as I smelled it, mimosa hit my nose. It's a beautiful flower. For me, it reminds me of Heliotrope a little bit, and as I said, this one did feature Heliotrope, this one doesn't. So for some reason I thought that this could be a combination of featuring Heliotrope, but it doesn't according to their notes. It does feature almonds though, and Heliotrope can go almondy, which of course I forgot to mention, this did go a tad bit almondy. But it's definitely prominent here because they credit almonds here. It's really, really there. But what I get with this one is lots of mimosa flower. So it's got like kind of like a baby powdery almondy kind of a light smell to it. Really, really beautiful, soft kind of experience as a flower. Lots of musk here. Violet flower is really, really prominent as well. It's really, really there. Almonds comes in and gives it just a kind of a nuttiness to the fragrance. And then the linden blossom. Linden blossom is not a fragrance I see quite frequently in fragrances, and I've traveled to Berlin quite a bit, and they have that one street that has the linden blossoms, the famous street, on it. So It's a German brand, obviously, so maybe Germans tend to use this flower. I think I see it in jams and things like that as well. But that's another topic. But it smells great in here, and I think it complements. Well, not I think it definitely complements the mimosa flower so far and the violet flower. But what other flowers come in here is coneflower, jasmine, the clover. It's a floral experience, but it's an overly powdery experience. I think all the flowers they're using in here has a powdery accord. So in the end, it's a powdery experience, but it's a really, really loud fragrance. Both of these are intense experiences. Of course, as I said, they're extrait de parfum concentration, so they're intense experiences when you're wearing them. It's just each one goes in a different direction, and it depends on what kind of styles of fragrances you like. You would go with that one. But this one definitely rocks. It's a great scent. Those of you that love powdery fragrances, floral fragrances, musky fragrances will be pleasantly surprised with this one. And of course, it does have an almondy touch running throughout the whole fragrance, so it is almondy, but a great scent. But out of the two, I prefer this one. I don't hate this one. Like I said, it smells fantastic. So both of these are from the house of Wesker. Is a German brand, and this is Eau De Mystique. This is Imperial. Both are selling off of their website. I have a link to the info box, and you can also check them out at Lucky Scent. Of course, they're selling them there. But let me know if you guys have sampled this particular house. If you own any of the fragrances, let me know about the third one. I don't know much about it. Sounds great once again. I'd like to find out. So put some comments down so I can see. But if you haven't sampled any of these or either of these, let me know which one sounds great to you so I can find out. Either way, guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. Video 1 of 2 videos on new houses I haven't spoken much about. The second one will be up within the next couple of hours. Stay tuned for that. That one features a giveaway as well. But if you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Otherwise, please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.